So in today's video, we're going to be talking about what would I do if I was Jamaica's Prime Minister. And I'm talking about the Prime Minister now, with the high crime rate and all the violence and all the economic craziness that's going on in our country. So we set out different plans that we would execute if we were Jamaica's Prime Minister. And mine is separated into two different categories. So the first one would be the fight on crime, and then the second one would be the economic stability. And the first one we're going to be talking about is the fight on crime, because Jamaica's crime rate is completely ridiculous, and everybody that's Jamaican born or raised or have any connection to Jamaica, whether it's through visiting, whether it's through family, friends, know that Jamaica's crime rate is very, very bad now. And places like England, Canada, and the US have listed travel advisory warnings to their citizens. So the first thing I would do was secure all borders, land, air, and sea. Meaning that anytime a gun or illegal substance comes into my country, somebody would be held accountable. How did it get through? Where did it come through? Somebody would be held accountable, whether it's through the wharf, whether it's through the airport, whether it's through sea, somebody would be held accountable. The next thing I would do is join forces, and all of Jamaica would be in a state of emergency. It would be an island-wide state of emergency, and all main streets would be locked by 6 p.m. The next thing I would do is name all street and lanes. Jamaica have a lot of places that zinc fence road and all that. I would make sure all these places have specific names so police officers or the JDF can do their jobs properly and efficiently. The next thing I would do is make sure every parish has its specific license plate. So Westmoreland having specific license plate, Kingston specific license plate. That would help with the fight on crime also. The next thing is dismantle the whole JCF, and I would do that over time, because JCF is very corrupt now. But I would dismantle the whole thing and get new people in there, and I would do it parish by parish, little by little. And I will also have great incentive, great health benefits, and great pay for someone that's putting their life at risk, like the JCF and the JDF, to give people an incentive to want to go in. And the last and final fight on crime measure I would put in is definitely the CCTV and satellite cameras managed by an outside entity. So nobody in Jamaica would manage those cameras. Nobody can cut off this and take out that when they want. It will be managed by an outside entity. So anytime anything is tampered with, or we need to get a case right in Jamaica, or we need to lock somebody up and we need camera evidence, then we would know where to go and who would have them. So that would be the last and final fight on crime measure that I would implement in Jamaica if I was Prime Minister of Jamaica right now. And the second section is about economic stability and how I would get Jamaica to a place where we have economic stability and we don't have to borrow money from other countries. And the first thing I would do is cut a lot of the import goods that comes into our country and buy from more of the small entrepreneurs and small farmers and small manufacturers that are located in our island. So that's one of the first thing I would do. And also, everything that comes into Jamaica have to have a specific requirement. Like, you can't send anything into our country that have red dye 40 that makes kids hyperactive. They would have to everything that comes into the country would have to have a specific level. Like, they would have to pass a specific standard to get into the country, especially if it's things that's going to be sold to kids or to children all over the island. And then the next thing would be all overseas businesses would be taxed with no tax breaks, so they wouldn't get any incentives of having a business in Jamaica. They would still have to pay their taxes, and they wouldn't get any cuts or any of that, because that money is going to go into the citizens and go into the country and go into our youths. And that's how we're going to build and stabilize our economy, because even though Jamaica is riddled with crime and riddled with violence, a lot of people are in our country making a whole lot of money, and the money is not staying into our country, it's going elsewhere. So that would have to change immediately. And then the fourth thing I would do, everyone needs to have an ID, and everyone needs to have an ID with a proper recent address. And if you don't have a recent address on your ID, you would be penalized. Mandatory STD and HIV tests for everyone 14 years and above, twice a year. And all health status will be encrypted on a personal ID accordingly. So you have your ID, you bring your ID when you go get your STD and HIV testing, and they would encrypt your status on your ID, so only specific personnel can read it. And this would be for the safety of Jamaicans and Jamaican people, because a lot of people are spreading STD and HIV all across our country, and a lot of people refuse to go take STD and HIV testing because they don't want to know, and they continuously spread diseases, and that is something we don't want at all, because you guys know how that goes. The next thing I would do is all taxes from overseas business would be put into a specific account to create jobs and trade school for the youth in Jamaica. So not giving these big corporations and big companies any tax break that do businesses in Jamaica would allow us to build more schools, build more jobs, and create more entrepreneurship opportunities for our youths. And entrepreneurship would be a very big thing for me. And one of the things I would implement was all entrepreneur will get support from the government. So they would have money management schools, marketing schools, and also I would allow for entrepreneurs to get easier loans in Jamaica to open, say, a business, a shop, a grocery store. Make it a lot more easier for our people to be their own boss, basically. And then the last and final thing I would do as far as economic stability is concerned, I would do all personnel that are going to be around children, whether you work with children or near children, you would have to undergo a mandatory lie detector test and a mandatory professional evaluation every year. And when I talk about professional evaluation, I'm talking about extensive evaluation, not just somebody come and ask you a few questions and then gone about your business. People that come to you would have to give surveys, would have to answer questions and all that, and I would pick random people. And a yearly in-depth background check for teachers, nurses, doctors, pastors, police, even a janitor. If the janitor they work in a school or any place that children are going to be around, I don't care what age the children are, I don't care if they're in high school or college, you're going to have to be a person with good intention. So you're going to have to do a yearly evaluation, you're going to have to do a lie detector test, because we need to protect our kids and we need to be more forthcoming with protecting our kids, because they're the future, and without them we don't have a very bright future. Let's just put it that way. So comment in the comment section and tell me what you would do if you was the Prime Minister of Jamaica now, right now in 2018. Tell me your crime plan. Tell me what would you do. And don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to your girl here on YouTube. I'm a party here, man. Deuces.